Eerie personal changes sometimes happen after organ transplants, and we've heard a lot of stories about this. The idea that the heart contains the very essence of a person might be more than just a spiritual concept. Ever since the first human heart transplants back in 1967, patients have reported, often reluctantly, some eerie and inexplicable changes in their personalities. Following surgery, some say they feel less like themselves and more like their donor. For instance, one transplant patient recipient in the 1990s reported suddenly developing a love for music after receiving the heart of a young male musician. I could never play before, but after my transplant I began to love music. I felt it in my heart, she told scientists in a paper published in 2000. Another transplant recipient says they developed new tastes for food, art, sex, or careers following their surgeries. Some even claim to have new memories implanted. Take the anonymous case of a 56-year-old college professor who received the heart of a police officer killed by a gunshot to the face a few weeks after the transplant. The recipient said they had dreams of a flash of light right in my face. He said just before that time I would get a glimpse of Jesus, is what he claimed. That's exactly how Carl died, the donor's wife told the researchers. She said the main suspect looks sort of like some of the pictures of Jesus. Such controversial anecdotes verge on the unbelievable, but a new study from the University of Colorado, CU, suggests it's not just heart transplants that appear to trigger such fundamental changes to personhood. If these systems can be directly linked to organ transplants, perhaps that means our sense of self is contained in every cell of our bodies, not just one or two organs. I wonder if this also happens with blood transfusions. Now, an online survey among 23 heart recipients and 24 other organ recipients found nearly 90% experienced personality changes after transplant surgery, no matter the organ they received. Most patients in the study said they experienced 4 or more personality changes, and most of these changes had to do with temperament, emotions, food, identity, religious and spiritual beliefs, or memories. While the study is too small to be statistically significant, medical researcher Brian Carter and his colleagues at CU concluded that heart transplant recipients may not be unique in their experience of personality changes following transplantation. Instead, they argue, such changes may occur following the transplantation of any organ, and that demands further research. The study from CU is one of the first to quantify the personality changes that occur after a wide variety of organ transplants. Previous studies have tended to focus on heart transplants, as these anecdotes are thought to be the most extreme and long-lasting. In the case of liver or kidney transplants, patients in previous studies tend to report changing feelings of stress, anxiety, depression, or other mental health issues. Some researchers have explained these differences by arguing there is a little brain in the heart, quote unquote. These potential explanations, however, do not consider transplanted organs other than the heart. In those cases, perhaps immunosuppressive drugs that are to blame for personality changes, or maybe a person's memories, quote unquote, are stored widely throughout the body and not just in a few crucial organs. The systemic memory hypothesis predicts that all living cells possess memory and that a transplant recipient can sense a donor's history through their tissue. Although a transplant organ's nerve connections are severed, nerves may still function within the organ. Some evidence suggests nerve connections may be partially restored a year after transplant surgery. Neurotransmitter interactions based on donor memories might then cause a physiological response to the recipient's nervous system that impacts their personality. Scientists have found the cells of donor circulating in recipients as many as 2 years after a transplant. Where those cells go and what happens to their DNA is unclear. The DNA, once escaped from cells, does appear to trigger inflammation, and chronic low-grade inflammation has been shown to alter personality traits. If personality changes are really as common and widespread as a small study from CU suggests, then further research is desperately needed. In 2022, there were more than 150,000 organ transplants conducted worldwide. This was published in Transplantology magazine and is by Carla Casella on Science Alert. Please leave your comments. Thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.